Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios, once again with another One Piece chapter summary. Normally I try to come up with something clever to say at the start of a chapter. It's a thing I've been trying to do as of late. But as you can tell by the chapter title, chapter 1151, I get the idea. So let's move right into it. First we're going to start off with the artwork that we usually do. We've got a lovely art of Yamato. We've made it to the Hakumai region, and we have given the hat to Kawamatsu. And then I guess we stopped for some sumo. See, the main quest is done right now. The sword has been returned. The innocent have been saved. We got a couple new party members. Now it's time to go do fun side quests like playing sumo. But Yamato is not just defeating anyone in sumo. Yamato has defeated Sukume, which is the big brother of Urashima, the huge Yokozuna of the Hakumai region. He was a big sumo. You remember him. He's the guy that wanted to marry Kiku. And yeah, so that's his older brother who just got thrown out of the ring. So without further ado, though, let's get into the actual chapter itself, which is... I mean, what else is there to say? Things are going pretty south pretty fast. Kashi tries to reason with Oimo, or not Oimo, with Dorian Bragi. Anytime you say Dorian Bragi, anytime you say Oimo and Kashi, you gotta say their names together. So it's really hard not to sometimes. Kashi tries to stop his two captains from going to take out Yorl, because they've been looking up to him since they were kids. He's the world's oldest warrior. You can't do this. And the two of them are just like, that's why we need to do this. It is past his prime. It's past his time. We're going to take him down. And as they pass by, one of the other giants, his name is Thorman, he accidentally ends up between them. And much like the Japanese game where you earn points by flipping opponents' pieces over, this is pretty much the game. I believe it's called Go. Yeah, if you stand between Dorian Bragi, you'll be flipped just like them. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a cure to this just yet. Though this does raise a theory, since Oda's being very direct about the symbolism here. Is it possible that Im might have a different devil fruit? We've seen a book appear in Im's hand. We've seen the mechanics of a game appear on the board. Maybe Im has the power of the game fruit? The play fruit? I mean, it would also fit into the power of imagination if everything in your life is a game. It also would fuel into the idea that Im is a perpetual child stuck in an eternity of youth. So that's probably the weakest of the devil fruits I think Im has. We're definitely leaning closer to the demon fruit. But keep it in mind, that is a possibility that it could be that. So as more and more giants are turning into more and more demons, people are talking, people are screaming, they're yelling, "Oh no, demons are taking over Elbaf!" Unfortunately for us, the children have been put back to sleep by Killingham's abilities, and the children are starting to dream of demons. And we actually get to see one of the nightmare fissures that Killingham spawns these things from as demons start coming out. They're big shadowy demons, and they reunite with the rest of Killingham's forces as Killingham tells one of his nightmare creatures to get back up. Put your head back on, because you're not actually dead. It's impossible for you to die because you're a nightmare. You're a sleeptid, as he calls them. And Killingham reveals his man-beast form. He's effectively a centaur in this form. And I gotta admit, he's got a lot more handsome features than I thought he would have. I kind of like him better in his dragon form, if I'm being honest. The way he looks right now, I don't want to say generic anime boy, because look at all the anime boys that we've seen throughout One Piece, but he really does strike me as someone's OC. He does look kind of generic, and I'm hoping maybe he's a little more expressive in later panels, but this is probably one of the most disappointing reveals of a Devil Fruit's user's human form after seeing how cool their animal form was. But I'm not the only one upset at the revelation of someone's true colors, so to speak. Usopp is very upset at the change in the true colors of Dorian Broggy. Usopp, tied up with the rest of the crew, he is calling out to Dorian Broggy. They're too far away to hear him, but he does say, "Where is your pride as Elbaf warriors? What are you doing? You guys have to..." I'm hoping, because I'm one of the people holding out for some Usopp moments in Elbaf. Maybe Usopp is what turns them over. We talk about how Luffy as the sun god brings liberation, but if we're talking about iconography of holy religious symbols, Jesus had 12 disciples who also performed miracles and did amazing things. What's to say that the sun god Nika doesn't have his 9 crewmates who also get the job done? So that would be very interesting to see. But I'm really hoping we get some moments there. But as Usopp is calling out to Dorian Broggy, Eam is conversing with his subordinates, Killingham and Sommers, as he basically wants a status update. How's it going? And Sommers says, "Well, honestly, Lord Eam, things are pretty much done. Things are going our way." Killingham's like, "Yeah, we won. The board is already mostly our color, so what else are we to do, Lord Great Emu?" And Emu says, "Keep going. Continue. Don't kill anyone, because we need them. But keep going until it breaks." And they say, "Oh, well, Lord Emu, what till what breaks?" "The heart of Elbaf." The truth is, Eam is absolutely correct. The best way to cause subjugation is to break the spirit of those you are fighting. And with Dorian Broggy eventually, potentially, ending the life of Ural, the leader and the legendary giant, the children being kidnapped and, if they disobey, also being gone, Eam is simultaneously destroying the past and the future of Elbaf, thus creating an eternal present in which Eam has always been the ruler. But that's the last we see of the current events, because we actually get a mini flashback. It's not the black border like we usually see. We actually get a gray border, because this flashback happened like 12 minutes ago. It literally just says many minutes ago. So not even an hour, many minutes ago. We cut to just after Scopper Gaban got knocked down and is falling to the underworld, and Chopper is falling with him. So I still hope Chopper had enough time to examine Sommer's body, but he also saw that, Mr. Ya got defeated and fell down into the underworld, so Chopper leapt in after him. Chopper can't fly, so Chopper's literally flying towards him, like flying towards him. It's like, okay, I gotta save him. How do I save me? Think, Chopper, you have enough time. We get the comedic leg spinning that we see, Luffy occasionally do in Gear 5th, as he manages to get under Mr. Ya and activates his guard point, which actually makes a lot of sense now that I say it out loud. Chopper always comes with a built-in airbag these days, so thankfully, Chopper does manage to save him. Interestingly enough, Chopper saves him, and his presence doesn't go unnoticed, as Luffy is with Loki and the rest of the giants and Zoro and Sanji, and Luffy goes, "Oh, hey, Chopper just landed here." And Loki goes, "Oh yeah, I did feel like somebody landed here. And someone's with them." And Luffy's like, "Yeah, that person feels kind of weakened right now." Wait, on that note, how did I know that was Chopper? Luffy asks that question. How did Luffy know it was Chopper? It seems that once your observation haki gets good enough and you form a strong enough bond with someone, you're able to sense them specifically. This actually makes sense considering how Scopper was able to focus on Colin and head directly to where he was in order to try and save him. Maybe this will come in handy later once the Straw Hat crew is in the final battle, and maybe Luffy has to make sure he knows how each member of his crew is doing, almost like a pseudo Vivera card, where Luffy can sense as silly enough as it sounds, an HUD, a user HUD, and he sees the individual HP of his crew members and knows which ones of them that he needs to go help during the final battle. Of course, knowing that it is their friend that fell, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, I assume Harden went with them, but they go after Chopper. They go to find where he landed and who he landed with, because that person might be in trouble or that person might be an enemy. Either way, Loki has a moment alone with Gerd and Goldberg, because I believe Road went with Harden as well. But Loki's there, he's lying there, and he goes, "Hey, Gerd, Goldberg, I bet there's something the two of you wish could happen. Maybe you guys got something I can do for you." And Gerd goes, "Nice try." And Goldberg's like, "Of course we have wishes, but nothing that you could provide for us." And Loki's just like, great, goody two-shoes, whatever. It's fine. And that's when his snail phone goes off. But he's like, uh-oh. It picks up, obviously, automatically, and it just goes, "Oh, hey, Loki, it's me. How you doing?" And Loki's like, shut up. What do you want, Shaggy? And Shaggy tells him, "I just wanted to let you know, I'm in a bit of a pickle right now. Nothing you need to come save me from or anything. I'm not, it's not like I'm in life-risking danger or anything." To which Loki is very concerned. He's like, "Well, just tell me where you are, okay? Come on. Maybe I can help you." And he's like, "Nah, don't worry about that. It's me. I'll be fine. I might die, though. This might be the last time we have a conversation." And Loki's like, "Wait, what do you mean? Okay, bye." Click. So Loki's pretty concerned. His friend just called him and said, "Hey, this might be the last time I call you for a while," and then hangs up. So Loki's upset, and he notices Gerd watching him have this conversation. To which he, the usual, "What are you looking at?" kind of thing. And she goes, Nothing, just happy that you have a friend down here in the cold underworld." So the facade of Loki being evil is starting to dip. A little bit earlier in the chapter, we do see Harden and Loki arguing about, "How could you kill our father? Do you really believe I did that? He was my father too. Well, that didn't seem to stop you from killing him. Well, maybe if you uncuff me, maybe I'll explain things to you." "Well, I'm definitely not going to do that," and yada yada yada, and then Chopper landed. On the note of Chopper landing, Luffy and Chopper and Zoro and Sanji, they all come back and they tell Gerd to get the medical equipment, and Gerd and Chopper team up to help Scopper Gaban, to help Mr. Ya. And that's when Luffy finally gets explained who the heck this guy is. Luffy and Zoro are both very shocked, although it does explain to them why this guy seemed so strong. Yes, he is one of the Pirate King's wings, probably the third strongest member on their crew. And Luffy's like, "Oh, that means he knows Shanks." And Zoro's like, "That explains why he was so strong." And Mr. Ya goes, and they're like, "Oh, he has something to say. He's coming too." And he goes, "Oh, come closer." And they come closer. And he says, "Yes, you must hear. I'm the second strongest, not the third." I'm picturing in the future Zoro and Sanji's old age. This is going to be the contested point between the two of them till the day they die. Who is the second strongest on the crew? Actually, knowing Zoro, he might even argue he's the strongest on the crew, but it's a funny little thing. It's just a glimpse into the future that we will see for our beloved Straw Hat crew. So as Mr. Ya is being treated, Chopper sits down the monster trio and, the giants around, and he explains to them what's going on. There's this big guy, and there's these God's Knights, and there's this monsters, and there's giant nightmare demons, and then Dory and Broggy turn into it's like Courage the Cowardly Dog, where he's just like, he's, explaining everything at once, until a burst of hockey happens. Because Chopper didn't see Eam, but Eam did show up. I would assume the big burst of hockey is probably when Eam said silence in the last chapter. But that's enough for Haruden to just be like, "Go to the lift. We're heading back up to the Sun Realm. We have to save Elbaf." And Luffy says, "Okay, Chopper, you don't have to explain anymore. I get the idea." Chapter title. And Loki goes, "Ho ho, that was quite the burst of hockey. I know you guys don't want to let me out, but I think you guys need to let me out now." So, who knows what's going to happen. Loki might just be put on a leash. And then once the situation becomes dire, that's when Harden unlocks it and we see what the Destroyer Nika can do. But however it goes down, that's pretty much where the chapter ends. We get a nice little cliffhanger there. Now the pieces are on the board, and because this was a flashback of a few minutes ago, I would assume where we're at now, with Dorian Broggy being flipped, I would assume that is around the time Luffy and Co. are going to get back up, and then we will have everybody in the same spot. And mind you, we're in the Sun Realm. We're in the middle part of Elbaf. We still haven't even gone to the top part. So for those of you saying, this is the final battle, this is where it's all going to end, I don't think so. I think there's still more to come. I think E might actually leave, thinking that he has won. Usopp Gaban fell to his death. Straw Hat Luffy is nowhere to be seen. The threat of Loki is, bound and chained up. Pretty useless right now. I think it's time to clock out. Gunko, take it from here. And then Gunko is back. Gunko might even turn sides. Who knows? Regardless, there's really not much else to say about this chapter. So, let me know in the comments below how you think this is going to go down, because it's certainly going to be interesting. But, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.